In this video, we'll be creating the Lazarus game that is in Chapter 4 of the Game Maker's Apprentice. And you can download the sprites and source code in Game Maker 8.1 from the apress.com site for the book Game Maker's Apprentice, which can be found online. And the first thing we'll need to do is we'll need to open Game Maker, and we're going to make sure that you have the advanced mode of Game Maker. Make sure that's checked. Okay, so I unchecked it, so I want to make sure there's a check mark there. So I see that's advanced mode, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my sprites for our Lazarus character. So load sprites. This is Chapter 4. So you'll find this in our Game Maker Apprentice resources, and we want Chapter 4. And the first sprite we're going to be pulling in is the Lazarus stand. So we have Lazarus stand. So bring this guy in. Remember, we want to remove the backgrounds, and we can leave the rest and hit OK. Alright, this guy is 40 by 40, so we'll just leave that OK. And we'll name this Sprite, SPR underscore Laz underscore stand, and we'll hit OK. We'll create another sprite, load sprite. This one we're going to want to be the sprite Laz to the right. And you can see it's him jumping up here, jumping to the right. We'll open. What we want to do is our last sprite was 40 by 40, so what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to create a Y value of 40. So you see we brought it down, so this is X0 and Y is 40, so our origin is going to be right here in this corner, and that's where we had for 0, 0 in the last one, right at the top. Going to bring in another sprite. We're going to bring in our, oh, I didn't name that one. Let's go back. Oh, this guy. And name that Sprite underscore LAZ underscore RIGHT. Hit OK. You can go ahead and do this one. Our next one is Sprite underscore LAZ underscore jump underscore right. And then we're going to load sprite, and we want Lazarus jump right. And hit open. It's the same thing. We want this to have a Y of 40, so you can see it brings down the origin to 40. Hit OK. Then we're going to make a sprite SPR underscore Laz underscore left, and we're going to load sprite Lazarus left. Open. We're going to want to make this the origin, so we're going to have a X of 40 and a Y 40. So now our origin is right here. Hit OK. We're going to add another sprite. And that's SPR underscore las underscore jump underscore left. Load sprite. And we're going to want Lazarus jump left. Hit open. We're going to want to have this at 40 and 40. Hit OK. We're also going to add sprites SPR las underscore afraid. And we're going to load the sprite las afraid. Is he blinking? And this one's 40-40 alright, so we can just leave it at 0, 0. It's 40 by 40, so 0 by 0 is right in this corner. Hit OK. And then we add the sprite SPR underscore LAZ underscore squished. Load sprite. We're going to look for squished. That's what happens when it gets squished. This is 40 by 40. We'll hit open. This is all set, so we hit OK. So we have all of our Lazarus sprites put in here. You can see alright, so we put all of these sprites in here, and now we're going to be creating the objects and putting some code in for these sprites. So let's go back to Game Maker. We're going to create an object. We're going to call it obj underscore las underscore stand. And we're going to select our sprite las stand. We're just going to hit OK for this one to start with. Now we're going to create an object obj underscore las underscore right. And we're going to select sprite las right. We're going to add an event, and under other we're going to look for animation end. Then we're going to include the jump to position. Drag that over. And we want to set X to 40 and make sure that it's relative. Alright, so we're going to move 40, which is at the one box over because we have 40 by 40. We want this to be self because we want it to move over, and then we hit OK. And then we're going to include the change instant. We're going to make it into the las stand. So we're going to have it jump. So this is going to be our when it's sitting still before we push any buttons. It's just going to be in this one. Then we're just going to hit OK. And then we hit OK for this. Now we're going to select the object las left, or create it, underscore LAZ underscore LEFT, and we're going to pick our sprite las left. We're going to come in here, we're going to have our other at animations end. We're going to have it jump to position. We're going to make X -40 because it's going to go to the left and not the right. We want to make sure this is relative. We're going to hit OK. And we're going to have it change back into our standing. Hit OK. We're going to create another object. I'm going to call this object underscore las jump right. And of course we're going to pick our sprite las jump right. We're going to pick other, animation end. We're going to have a box, and we're going to set this where X is 40 and Y is -40. We're going to make this relative. We're going to hit OK. And then we're going to have it change into our object last stand. Hit OK. Hit OK for that one. Then we're going to create an object we're going to call this las underscore jump underscore left. And we're going to select our las jump left sprite. Get add event, other, animation end, jump to position. We're going to have this one be -40, -40, make it relative, hit OK. And then we're going to have it change back into last object stand. And then we're going to hit OK. We're going to hit OK there. We're going to create another object. Las squished. We're going to use our squish sprite. We're going to do our other, animation end. Under main 2, we're going to do our display message, and that message is going to be something like it says, let's say, you're dead, or you were squished. And then when you use a hashtag, that leaves the message on a next line. So then we'll have better luck next time. And then hit OK. And then we'll do a restart room. And we can pick any kind of transition effect we want, or we could have no effect. Let's just do create from bottom. You can do anything you want. Okay. Hit OK. We're going to reopen our last stand object. And now we're going to create our motions. So we do add event, key press right. So when we key press right, we want to do the check collisions. We'll have X is 0. And we'll have relative. Okay. Then we're going to do a start block. We want to check empty, where X is 40 and Y is 0. Want that to be relative. Hit OK. We're going to do our change instance. We're going to pick our Lazarus right. We're going to select yes for our perform event. We're going to select an else. We'll do a check empty, where X is 40 and Y is negative 40. We're going to enable the relative box. We're going to add a change instance. To the jump right. Select yes. Hit OK. And then we're going to end the block. Alright, so when we press right, we need to check if there's collisions between boxes and stuff. If there's no collisions, then we'll just jump to the right. if there is a box there, then we'll jump. We'll move to the right. Then we'll jump on top of the box to the right, and that's what we have here. So now we'll hit OK. So this is just our creating our objects, and this is where we start putting in our press key to the right. So now that we have a press key to the right, now we're going to have to do a press key to the left and use similar codes. So let's open that up again. And then come in here, press our left key, and we're basically going to use the same codes that we have here. So we have our check collision, and we want X to be 0 and Y to be 8. We want this to be relative. We want to hit OK. We want to start a block. We want to check empty where X is -40 and Y is 0. We're going to make this relative. Hit OK. We're going to have our change instant into our object las left. I'm going to say yes. We're going to hit OK. We're going to do else. Check empty where this is -40, -40. Make that relative. Hit OK. And then we're going to change instant into our left jump. Say yes. Okay. And then we're going to end the block. So we have it checking to the left and right to see if those are empty spaces so that we can move to those spaces, or if we need to jump to a higher point if there's something directly to the left or the right of us. But one more thing we need to add is what if we're on top of a box and there's nothing below us? So what we're going to do is we're going to have a step event, and inside that we're going to check to see if our X is 0, but if there's nothing below us, so our X is minus, or our Y is 8, sorry, our Y is 8, and we make this relative. All right, so if there's nothing below us, then we're going to drop. So we hit OK, and then we're going to add a jump to position. where x is 0 and y is 8, and have that relative. So 8 would be 8 pixels below us. Okay. So now that we have this done, we can hit OK. So we have events. We're just using our right and left keys to move, to have them move right or left, or jump to the right or to the left if there's a solid object alongside him. So now we have to bring in more sprites. First one I was going to do is our sprite underscore wall. And we load our sprite. We're going to use our wall. Open. Oh, there's a line here, so let's go. So we don't have to take away the background image around it. So it looks completely solid. Hit OK. We're going to create an object. Underscore wall. We're going to select our sprite wall. We're going to make this solid. We're going to make it a solid object. Okay. And now we're going to create a room. And we have our wall. We're going to make this 40 by 40. All right. We're going to create a floor. And we want to create an obstacle course type of thing. And we want to bring in our little Lazarus guy. Let's hit File, Save As. Make sure we're in our Chapter 4 folder. Call it Save As Lazarus. Save. And let's go ahead and test this out. So our guy dropped. So you can see he moves to the right when I click on the right. Can't go up the wall, but I can jump up one. So this is all our guy does, is he just moves right and left. And when we create falling boxes, he'll be squished by them. So now we have created our motions. We just created a test environment, and the next thing we want to do is create falling boxes, and we're going to have to create sprites for our different boxes. We have cardboard boxes, stone boxes, metal boxes, and wood boxes. So we're going to have to create sprites for all of these, and then we're going to create objects to interact with the game. Okay, so we have our sprites. We have to make our 4 sprites. The first one we're going to do is sprite underscore box underscore stone, and we're going to load our stone box. And we're going to see something here. So we can see with the metal box, there's actually, it's metal and wood, and there's a background around it. You see that green. You can see a tiny bit of green here and here on the wood box too. But the stone box doesn't have it. So we're going to not click on this. We're going to select our stone box and hit open. And then we hit OK. Then we're going to create a sprite. Now we're going to do sprite underscore box underscore card. We're going to load our sprite. We have a cardboard box which doesn't have any backgrounds on it, so we're not going to hit remove backgrounds. We'll hit open. And OK. We're going to have our sprite underscore box underscore metal. We're going to load the sprite. We're going to get the metal box. And here we want to get rid of that green, so we're going to hit remove background, and that gets rid of the green background. Gives it a shape that isn't so, it's just square. And the last one we're going to do is our sprite underscore box underscore wood. We're going to load sprite, and we're going to pick our wood, and see that green, we want to get rid of it, so we'll hit remove, hit open, hit OK. So we brought in our 4 falling objects, the sprites for it. So let's go ahead and we're going to create our first object. And the object, J, is going to be our falling stone. Call it falling underscore stone. And we're going to pick our stone box. We want this to be a solid object. And we're going to add an event. We're going to add the create event to it, and include the jump to position. So when it's created, it's going to have an X position. So when the box itself is created, it's going to have a X position object underscore LAZ underscore stand. Oops. It's very important that we type that exactly where what is the same as our object that we're trying to put the X position. So the X position when this is created will be wherever our little Lazarus guy is, but it's going to be negative 40 Y, and that means 40 pixels above, 40 spots above the 0, 0 origin top left corner. So it's going to be 0 or negative 40. It's going to be 40 positions above outside of the game box, outside of the game height. So 40 positions higher than the position that it's at. And these are going to be exact. So we're going to have this X is going to be exactly at the X position of wherever the object Lazarus is when it is created. Hit OK. And then we're going to add a move fix. So once it's created in that position, it's going to start to drop with a speed of 5. And relative would make it go faster and faster, but we're just going to have a constant. We're going to have a constant speed. If you wanted something that was more like gravity, you would pick a number and then you would have it relative so that each position goes faster and faster as it drops. So we'll just have it at constant speed 5 for now. We're going to add a collision event now. So we have it coming in, and when it's created, so when the game starts, it's just created. It's going to be at a position, created at a position wherever the X position of the Laz stand object is, and that's going to start to drop. But if it hits our little guy, if there's a collision with our little guy, then we want our little guy to change into our little squished guy, and we want that for the other. So we don't want the rock to change. We want the our little guy to change, and we'll hit yes. So it changes into our little squished guy. And then hit OK. So now we have a lot of collisions that take place. The first one is we already know that if we change into our squished position, then the game ends at the end of the animation of the little squish guy. But our boxes, some boxes can stack on top of each other, and some get crushed by heavier boxes. Our stone box is the heaviest box, so we're going to add an event. The first thing is our floor is made out of our object wall. Our floor is made out of our object wall. And if it collides with the object wall or our floor, then we're going to have a stop at a speed of 0, and then OK. And let's save this for now. So we have a object stone falling, We also have to create an object that's just box stone that stands still. Box stone solid, and it's the same as our sprite box, and this doesn't do anything. We hit OK, and we're going to create this for all of our sprites. Object box card solid. Okay. Object underscore box underscore metal solid. Okay. And object box wood. Solid. Okay. All right, let's go back to our falling stone. So we have object box stone, object box cardboard, object box metal, object box wood. Go back to our object falling stone. So now we're going to add collisions for all of these things. So we have a collision between the sitting object box stone, and what we had is if it collides with a wall, it stops moving, and then it turns into our object box stone, which just sits there. Okay. Now the same thing when it hits another object box stone, it stops. Hit OK, and then it changes into object box stone. Yes. Hit OK. Now we have another collision. With object box metal. And we're going to have the destroy instance, and other means that the stone, the falling stone, will destroy the other object it collides with, which is the metal box, and then it'll stop moving, and then it will change into the object box stone. Yes. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing for a collision with our wood box, where we get the destroy instance, destroys the wood box, and then it stops moving, and then it changes into the stone. And then the last box is the cardboard box. We'll again have, it'll destroy the cardboard box. Hit OK. It'll stop moving. Hit OK. And it will change into an object box thing. Hit OK. All right. So this is for the object falling stone, right? Solid object. Oh wait, we don't need this to be, yeah, solid object. Now we're going to do this. Let's go ahead and take a look. So now that we have our first falling box, all right, so we created our falling stone, and that will crush the metal, wood, and card. Now we create a falling metal, and that'll crush the wood and the cardboard, but it'll stack on top of the stone and the metal. We'll have a falling wood box, and that'll only crush the cardboard, but it will go through it. Something I'm going to go back and change. We don't need this. So when it stacks on the stone box, it'll stop and change into the object. But we don't want it to stop when it's on the metal and the cardboard and the wood. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of this. I'm going to delete these two. We just want to destroy it, and we want it to keep on moving until it falls into something that's going to stop it. So we're going to delete this and delete this. So that way, if we have a whole stack of wood boxes, it will go through all of those. So it'll stop when it hits the wall object, which is our floor, and it'll stop if it hits an object stone box and stack on top of it. So it'll stop moving when it touches it. But if it hits the cardboard box, if you have a whole stack, it will continue to move. So let's delete. It'll destroy the cardboard box, but it'll continue to move. If there's a whole stack of metal boxes, it'll destroy them and continue to move, and it'll destroy wood boxes and continue to move. So this is the way this should look right here. So hit OK. So now we have to do this. This is our falling stone. So the next one is we have to create an object underscore falling underscore metal, and we're going to use our Sprite box metal, make it solid. I'm going to add a create event, and our create event is going to be jump to position, and we're gonna go through all the same steps here, where our position is obj underscore laz underscore stand dot x, and our y is -40, and we hit OK. And we're going to have it drop down with a speed of 5, and hit OK. Then we're going to start adding our collision events. First one is our Lazarus standing. We're going to change instant to our little squishy guy. Yes. This is other. Oops. We want to change the. We don't want to change the box. We want to change the Lazarus guy. So hit OK. We're going to add an event with a collision with our wall object, and what we're going to do is we're going to do our move fixed to 0, and we're going to change our instant to our metal box. Add a collision with stone. Where we stop moving. Change into our metal box. Add a collision with metal boxes. Stop moving. Oh, we turn into metal boxes. Add a collision with our wood box, where we destroy the wood box. Add a collision with our cardboard box, where we destroy the other cardboard box. So we hit OK to that. Now we have object underscore falling underscore wood, and we're going to use our wood box, make it solid, add a create event, alright, so we have our object underscore las underscore stand -40, hit OK. dropping with a speed of 5. Hit OK. Add our collisions with our object las. Where we change the instance to squished. And then we add all our collisions there. Object wall. Stops. Changes in the wood. Collision with stone. Stops. Changes in the wood. Add collision with metal. Stops. Changes in the wood. Has a collision with wood. Where it stops. Changes in the wood. Has a collision with cardboard, where it simply destroys the other cardboard objects. Hit OK. Object. Falling card. Sprite is a cardboard box. Make it solid. We have a create. Jump to position. Y negative 40. Hit OK. Have it falling downwards with a speed of 5. Hit OK. Add a collision with our las, where we change sprites into our sprite squished. And then we add all our collisions. Start with our wall. Stop. Change into cardboard. They're okay. Collision with our stone. You have it stop. Change into cardboard. Collision with our metal. You have it stop. Change into cardboard. Collision with our wood. Where you have it stop. Change into cardboard. And finally, our collision with cardboard, where it once again stops and stacks on top of another cardboard box. Hit OK. Let's go ahead and file save. All right. So now that we have all of these created, let's go ahead and we do something that's pretty simple. We're just going to create these 4 objects called the next stone, make it solid, next metal, next wood, and next cardboard using the sprites that we have for them already. So create object underscore next underscore stone. Make sure that we pick the sprite for the stone. Hit solid. Hit OK. Object underscore next underscore metal. Click solid. OK. Next underscore wood. Solid. Hit OK. Card. Solid. OK. Okay, now that we have everything created, we'll come over here. We have our next wood objects created. Now we need to create a controller object that will randomly select which boxes will be falling from the ceiling towards our little Lazarus squishy guy. So we'll go ahead and we'll start creating this controller object. So we're going to call this object underscore controller. And we don't need any sprites for this. First thing we're going to do is we're going to add a step event. And we're going to go to the Control tab, and we're going to do a test instant count. And we want our test instant count for the object falling stone. Let's see, object falling. There, object falling stone. And we want it to be equal to 0. Because we want to make sure that there aren't any other falling stone objects on the screen when this happens. So we're going to do this for all our objects here. So now we have our all our falling objects. So now we have our falling metal. Hit OK. Nope, bring this over. We have our falling wood. Hit OK. And we have our falling cardboard. Okay. So these objects will only be falling if another falling object of these types are not on the screen at the same time. And we also want to check that objects will be falling if our little Lazarus standing guy is out there and there's one of those, so it's equal to 1, not 0. I mean, okay. So the objects will fall if we have one little Lazarus guy on there. Next, we're going to do a start block, and we want to do a change instant. And we want it to be the first one. We're going to do object next stone, and we want it to change into our object falling stone. And hit yes. We're going to do this for all our instances also. So change, we have object next metal, change into next object falling metal, yes. Object next wood, turn into object falling wood, yes. Object next cardboard, turn into object falling cardboard, yes. And we're going to have a create random. We're going to pick all of our next, so next stone, next metal, next wood, next cardboard. And we want the position X to be 0 and Y to be 440. And then we're going to create an end block. Okay, so now we just created our object controller. All right, we're going to want to create our test room. So let's go back here. Let's hit OK. Let's hit File, Save. Let's do create a background. We're going to load load our background, and we want that from chapter 4. There's our background. This is 640 by 480. Just call it background. 640 by 480. So now we're in our room. We want to select our background. Alright, we have 640 by 480. Let's call this level 1. Lazarus game. Call it the Lazarus game. Alright, so I want to pull this out so that we have this whole area here. Here we have our object controller. It's this little blue dot. You can put it anywhere. It's going to be invisible when we have the game. Object wall. So we're going to get rid of this. Delete. 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 Oh. Delete. And we can put this to the top for now. Let's delete. We'll put this guy there. File, save. So let's hit OK, and let's see if this works the way it should. So I'm moving around, and I get this is a wood box. Or metal box. There was a wood box way over there. There's a cardboard box. So I can see over here that I have wood boxes. I have a lot of boxes showing up, but the only thing that's dropping are cardboard boxes and metal boxes. All right, so that works good. So I'm going to have to go back and check my code. Let's see if I get squished. Yep. You were squished. Better luck next time. I hit OK, and it all starts over. So I'm going to go back and check my code. Where are we? And see what it is that is keeping my stone boxes and my wood boxes from showing up. So let's look at my object controller, and I think I found a problem. So I picked next stone, and I had it turn into a metal box instead of a falling stone box. Where is falling stone? Right there. Falling stone box is what I want. And this is a metal box, turns into a metal box. That worked fine. This is a wood box, turns into an object falling wood box. That's fine. And this is a cardboard box turns into a cardboard. Next card falling, okay. Next wood turns into object falling wood. Hit OK. Now let's see. Let's try this again. I want to get all three items here. Alright, well there's stone. There's cardboard. Oh, wood one fell out finally. See if I can get another wood one. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now I'm going to get squished. Oop. Alright, so I did have a wood box fall down over here. So it is working correctly. Just randomly, I don't see a lot of wood boxes like I would like to. So, okay, let's try it again. Maybe this time. Oh, I see. I think I have a problem here. The wood box, there we go. This wood box is at 0, 0, so I need to go back and change where it is the falling wood box appears. So they're stacking up on top of each other. So I want falling wood box, and it's create. I have to put .x. .x. So that's where my problem was. Hit OK. Save. And then play. All right. You can see over here, these are the boxes, there we go, wood box, that are randomly being selected in this corner over here. What's going to come next? So that shows me the randomization a little bit, what's going on. All right, so we got wood boxes, we got metal boxes, we got stone boxes, we got cardboard boxes. And we just have to avoid them squishing us. And certain boxes will crush other boxes, and everything falls and fits into place just right. So let's go ahead. Oh, I got squished. Hit OK. Alright, so let's hit OK. And let's hit File, Save. Alright, so we have this. Now we're going to do some finishing touches here. Now that we have that all working. And something we have is we have a we can change the sprite so that we have the afraid Lazarus if Lazarus is boxed in. So we're going to check collisions, and then we're going to change sprites to make the sprite look make it a little more fun. So we want to open our Laz stand, and we have our step event already opened. and we're going to use our check collisions. All right, so we're going to set X to 40 and keep Y at 0, and we're going to enable our relative box. We're going to check relative box. And then we're going to look for all our positions around. We're going to check collisions with all the positions that are around us. So we actually have 4 different positions. So now we're going to do 40 and negative 40 relative. Then we're going to do negative 40 and Y is 0. And lastly, we're going to do negative 40 and negative 40. Relative. And then we're going to do a change sprite. Change sprite. We're going to pick up the afraid. So we hit OK. And we're going to keep, if these conditions aren't met, then we're going to have the sprite Lazarus standing. So if these 3 conditions are met, then we have the afraid sprite, but if they're not met, then we have our first one here. So we'll hit File, Save. We can test it to see if this works. This will be easier because all we have to do is get trapped to get killed. So there's our little guy. Now we're trapped. Well, we're not trapped yet, but oh, we're trapped. We hit OK. Seems we hit go back and we hit a destroy instant for when certain boxes hit the little Lazarus guy. Some of them don't. All right. Okay, so we have all our little Lazarus actions going in there. Now we have to have a way to kind of win the game. All right, so we're gonna create a new button. We're gonna add it there, and we want to put it up at a level that you have to work your way to the top by stacking the boxes and jumping up on the boxes. And then when you get to this sprite, that you'll say congratulations, you've completed the game, or you've completed a level. All right, so we'll create this this button that allows us to win that round. But something else we want to do is we're going to want to add title screens, and we're going to want to add sounds. We already added the background. We're going to add different sounds for when he's jumping around. And we're going to want to add at least 3 levels to this game, and then we'll be done. So let's get back. You're going to have to create the levels on your own. You're going to have to create the title screen on your own, and you're going to have to add the sounds on your own. But we can create this button together, and then it'll be on you to finish this game on your own. So we're going to create a sprite. We want the sprite to be SPR underscore button. And we want to load the sprite. We have our button sprite. It says stop. And we can hit remove or uncheck remove background since it's square. And hit open. Hit OK. Then we're going to create an object. And we want to use our sprite button to make an object underscore button. We're going to create the depth. So you can change the depth for your Lazarus guy, your boxes, any of that stuff you want to do. You can change the depths for it. We're going to add a collision event. With the standing Lazarus, and include a sleep action set for 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. We want the redraw to be true. And then we want to check next if next room exists, and then include a go to next room. Any type of transition is fine. Anything you want to do, and we'll include an else. And we're going to include our starter block. So it's going to check for the next room, and it's going to go to the next room if we have one. Right now we only have one room. So if there isn't another room that it can go to, so if you've gone through us just the one room, then we're going to display a message that says you won. All right. It's going to say congratulations hashtag to get a new line. You have won. Or how about this? You're a winner. Okay? So if we have 3 levels and we're already, it checks if you either go to the next room or if we've gone to all 3 rooms, then we win the game for however many levels you have. And then if after we hit include different room, set the new room to our first room, which would be level 1, and then any type of transition you'd like. And then control, encode. All right. So then we have this object button. We hit OK. We want to go into our room, and we want to put our object button somewhere. I'm going to put it right there. But you would want to put it somewhere like way up here. All right, so that you have to, or you could just put it in the middle of the room. Any one of these places is fine. And then what happen if we collide with any one of these boxes, then you go to the next room or the next level. We don't have a next room, so test this game. So what I can do is I can keep trying to stack these to get up to this box way over here, but I don't have time for that. So I just collided with it, and it says, congratulations, you're a winner. And that's the game, pretty much. Like I said, now it's your job to go in and create titles. All right, create a title, get your starting level, go in there, add your sounds and help, and then you have to create at least three levels, and then you'll be completed with your game. You can create more levels if you want, but at least 3, and that is all. And this is the end of chapter 4.